I call the member for Balmain.
Lucky last. I rise tonight on the matter of ethics classes and the irresponsible proposal by Fred Nile that the classes be removed from our primary schools. The Greens campaigned for years to introduce ethics classes as an optional alternative to religion classes in state schools, and we were pleased to support the previous government's ethics legislation. I've received a number of phone calls, emails and letters from constituents in my seat of Balmain, as I'm sure many other members have, who are greatly concerned that ethics classes may be in jeopardy. Parents are particularly concerned that when there is no alternative offered to scripture classes, there is a wasted period of time when children aren't offered learning opportunities. Instead, they sit, they watch videos, they might do colouring in and other activities which we would not consider a constructive use of valuable learning time. Of a total of 13 primary schools in my electorate, 11 are currently conducting ethics classes. And I've received a great deal of positive feedback about the classes. Indeed, one of the pilot programs for the ethics classes was in that great local public school, Roselle Public School in the electorate of Balmain. The successful implementation of the classes is testimony to their continued importance in our primary schools. Previous concerns about the feasibility of ethics classes in our schools have now been dispelled. Giving our kids the opportunity to attend ethics classes does not undermine religious education, rather it provides an opportunity for all children to learn valuable life skills. Indeed, the very existence of these classes encourages inclusiveness, understanding and coexistence. I'd like to thank the local residents for their support on this issue, the dedicated public school teachers and support workers, parents also who have worked to ensure these classes are implemented successfully and are made available for our young people, and the countless community members who have expressed their support and encouraged the Greens and myself in our support for this issue. In particular, I'd like to thank Mr Robin Smith, the Balmain Public School P&C President, who has written to me a very eloquent letter on this matter. The peak organisation of parents in New South Wales has urged the Premier to support ethics classes. Both Anglican and Catholic churches have also recently acknowledged the ethics classes should not be removed from schools. Brian Cowling from the Anglican Education Commission, the church's peak education body in the Sydney Diocese, recently told the Sydney Morning Herald, quote, "I'm comfortable with the current arrangements and so is the Anglican Church," end quote. We must seek to live in communities which recognise and celebrate our differences. In our differences, we are able to explore our capacity for empathy and genuinely ethical behaviour. If there is no alternative provided to religious education, then some of our children find themselves excluded, and precious learning time is utterly wasted. If we cannot stand up for the right of every child to an equal education, then we are failing our children and failing our communities. So today, on behalf of the people of Balmain, I call on this government to put the issue to rest and unequivocally deal with this matter. The Premier has said he will allow Mr Niall's bill to repeal ethics classes to be considered, leading to obvious concerns about a deal on the matter. And why are there questions? Because Mr Niall is getting some of the most favourable treatment of any other non-government member in the Legislative Council. This morning, for example, during private members' business in the other place, the government granted Mr Niall contingency, allowing him to jump the queue ahead of all other members' items in the order of precedence and introduce this legislation to repeal ethics classes. It seems, and many of us fear, that this is a down payment on Mr Niall's deal with the government to guarantee safe passage of the government's anti-public sector worker legislation through the upper house. Even more concerning was the way the government then permitted Mr Niall to adjourn the debate today until September 16. If the government did not support the anti-ethics class bill of Mr Niall, they could have simply debated and voted on the bill without this artificial delay. Instead, as I mentioned, it was adjourned with the support of the government. The Greens, of course, welcome this debate and look forward to this bill coming forward at the next available opportunity. And while Mr O'Farrell has said numerous times he will not repeal the ethics classes and has not made any deals with Mr Niall, we do genuinely hope that that is the case, despite this special treatment that Mr Niall and Mr Niall's bill has received. In short, Mr Temporary Speaker, the Greens' position and my position is clear. Parents, teachers, students and even the peak religious organisations have also made their voices heard. I'll be working very strongly in my electorate with my local P&Cs, my local schools, residents, as well as with teachers and parents' organisations across New South Wales to ensure that this issue is not forgotten as it has been deferred, that it is consciously focused on by this government and by the community of New South Wales, and that the ethics classes remain intact. Thank you.
Just before we conclude, I acknowledge earlier today that Vicky Dunn, MLA, member of the ACT Parliament, was in the gallery. So in accordance with the standing and sessional orders, the House now stands adjourned until Monday, 8th of August 2011 at 1 p.m.